What if the brutal reality of ancient warfare, the true weight of steel, the reach of a spear, the shattering impact of a projectile, has been consistently misrepresented, not just in minor details, but in ways that would have utterly changed the outcome of history's most pivotal battles? Spartans never swung swords at Thermopylae, they fought with 8-foot spears. Imagine a Roman legionary, shield locked, gladius ready, facing down a charging barbarian horde. We're about to uncover how the silver screen's pursuit of spectacle has twisted the truth of combat and reveal the real stories behind the arms that decided empires. Entry 6, the spear's silent dominance. Number 6 on our list, and the first major casualty of Hollywood's revisionism, is the spear's silent dominance, perfectly encapsulated by the Battle of Thermopylae in 480 BC. Picture the iconic scenes from films like Star 300 Star, Leonidas and his Spartans, wielding short swords, hacking their way through waves of Persians. It's dramatic, visceral, and almost entirely wrong. The truth is, the primary weapon of the Spartan hoplite, and indeed of most Greek heavy infantry, was not the sword, but the Dory, a formidable spear typically 7 to 9 feet long, tipped with an iron or bronze blade and balanced with a butt spike. This wasn't just a preference, it was the foundation of the phalanx, the dominant fighting formation of the ancient Greek world. A phalanx was a tightly packed, rectangular mass of hoplites, each man shield protecting his left side and the right side of the man next to him. Their long spears would project forward, creating a bristling wall of points, a deadly hedge that could repel cavalry and infantry alike. At Thermopylae, facing the numerically superior Persian forces in a narrow pass, the Dory was absolutely crucial. It allowed the Spartans and their allies to maintain distance, to stab and push, to exploit the constricted terrain where the Persians' numbers couldn't be brought to bear effectively. The sword, specifically the xiphos or the later copies was a secondary weapon, a last resort for when the phalanx broke, or a spear was lost or broken in the melee. It turns a disciplined, coordinated, spear-driven formation into a chaotic, individualistic sword fight, stripping away the genius of the phalanx and the very mechanics that allowed the Greeks to hold such overwhelming odds at bay. And if the spear, the most basic tool of ancient warfare, gets such a severe makeover, imagine what happens when we move to the tactical brilliance of the Roman legions. Entry 5, Gladius versus. The long-reach number 5 on our list takes us from the Greek spear to the Roman pilum, a weapon whose tactical genius is consistently overshadowed by its more famous, but often less decisive, counterpart, the gladius. Think of any Hollywood depiction of a Roman legionary, and you'll almost certainly picture a short, thrusting sword. Films like Gladiator or Centurion revel in close-quarters swordplay, portraying Roman victories as a testament to the gladius and individual martial skill. But this focus fundamentally misunderstands the Roman art of war, especially in pivotal engagements like the Battle of Cannae in 216 BC. At Cannae, Hannibal's Carthaginian forces delivered one of the most devastating defeats in Roman history. While the gladius was indeed the Romans' primary melee weapon, ready for the grind of face-to-face combat, it was the pilum that often set the stage for victory, or in this case, a more desperate struggle. The pilum was a heavy javelin, typically 2 meters long, with a unique design, a long, slender iron shank that tapered to a small pyramid-shaped head, fitted into a wooden shaft. Its heavy head and soft iron shank were designed to bend or lodge firmly in an enemy shield upon impact. Imagine a Carthaginian infantryman, advancing under a hail of pilum. If a pilum struck his shield, it would penetrate and bend, making the shield cumbersome, difficult to wield, and often forcing the soldier to discard it entirely. This left him exposed, disrupted his formation, and created immediate vulnerabilities that the advancing Roman legions, with their gladi ready, were quick to exploit. Hollywood, however, often reduces the pilum to a mere opening volley, a handful of throws before the real action begins. This overlooks its immense tactical role in breaking enemy lines, creating gaps, and sowing chaos before the gladius ever came into play. It was the pilum that turned a cohesive enemy shield wall into a scattered collection of vulnerable individuals. To ignore its impact is to strip Roman tactics of their brutal sophistication, reducing their triumphs to simple sword-fighting prowess. When we think of battles like Agincourt in 1415, Hollywood often positions longbowmen as secondary figures, a backdrop to the heroic knights clashing in the foreground. They're shown as providing some initial harassment, perhaps, but rarely as the primary, battle-deciding force they historically were. To put that in perspective, a modern Olympic recurve bow might have a draw weight of 40 to 50 pounds. Wielding a longbow effectively required immense strength, developed from childhood, leading to characteristic skeletal changes in archers' arms and shoulders, evident in archaeological finds like those from the Mary Rose shipwreck. At Agincourt, the English longbowmen were deployed in vast numbers, estimated between 5,000 and 6,000, flanking the smaller contingent of English men-at-arms. Their arrows, often bodkin-tipped, were not just a nuisance, they were designed to penetrate plate armor. Contemporary accounts describe arrows raining down like hail, capable of piercing armor at close to medium ranges, or at least incapacitating knights by hitting weaker points, or driving them to the ground. The sheer volume of fire was terrifying, creating a storm of deadly projectiles that disrupted French formations, panicked horses, and caused heavy casualties long before any hand-to-hand combat began. The muddy terrain at Agincourt only exacerbated the French knights' struggles, as they advanced through a hail of arrows and then found themselves mired, exhausted, and vulnerable. The longbow was a weapon that democratized warfare, allowing commoners to inflict mass casualties on the heavily armored elite. Its role was not supportive, it was central to English victories throughout the 100 Years' War. To portray it as mere background noise is to fundamentally misunderstand a weapon that reshaped the battlefield, making it one of the most powerful and feared instruments of its age. But even more than the weapons themselves, Hollywood consistently misjudges the men who wore the armor, especially when it came to the heaviest protection available. Entry 3, the weight of a knight. Number 3 on our list challenges a fundamental visual stereotype, the supposed immobility of a fully armored knight. From countless films and television shows, we've inherited an image of plate-armored warriors as lumbering, slow, and easily knocked over, often requiring cranes or multiple squires just to get on a horse. This portrayal suggests that medieval combat involved essentially walking tanks, easily outmaneuvered or toppled by lighter, quicker foes. A full suit of Gothic or Greenwich plate armor, weighing between 45 and 65 pounds, was distributed evenly across the body. Crucially, it was articulated with dozens of overlapping plates, rivets, and leather straps, allowing for a remarkable range of motion. A knight in well-fitted plate could run, jump, climb ladders, roll on the ground, and even mount a horse unaided. Surviving manuals and modern recreations confirm that trained wearers were agile and capable of complex movements, not the clanking, clumsy figures of popular imagination. The armor was designed to deflect blows, not absorb them, and its polished surfaces caused swords and axes to glance off rather than penetrate. This sophisticated protection meant that a knight was not simply a slow target, they were a formidable force, difficult to wound and capable of sustaining prolonged combat. The misrepresentation of their mobility fundamentally alters our perception of medieval battles. It makes the victories of lighter infantry, like the English longbowmen at Crecy, seem almost inevitable against stuck opponents, rather than the hard-won triumphs against highly skilled, mobile, and extremely well-protected warriors they truly were. This error reduces the strategic depth of medieval combat to a simple matter of speed versus bulk, ignoring the engineering marvel of the armor and the athletic prowess of its wearers. It's a visual lie that distorts the very physics of engagement. But even more than the armor itself, Hollywood struggles to grasp the basic unit of ancient and early medieval warfare, leading to a profound misunderstanding of how battles were truly fought. Entry 2, the gunpowder mirage. Number 2 on our list reveals a different kind of mirage, one created by the smoke and thunder of early firearms, the cinematic portrayal of gunpowder weapons. When Hollywood depicts the American Civil War, particularly iconic clashes like the Battle of Gettysburg in July 1863, we often see soldiers firing their muskets with a precision and speed that simply didn't exist. Lines of troops unleash volley after volley, hitting targets at remarkable distances, and reloading seems to take mere seconds. This creates a false sense of what it was like to face these weapons, and what it took to wield them. The reality of the Springfield Model 1861 rifled musket, a common firearm at Gettysburg, was far more challenging. While its rifled barrel offered significantly better accuracy than older smoothbore muskets, especially at longer ranges, it was still a muzzle loader. A trained soldier, under ideal conditions, might manage 3 shots per minute. In the chaos and stress of battle, with trembling hands, fouled barrels, and the need to bite off paper cartridges, that rate often dropped dramatically. The effective range for hitting individual targets was generally considered to be around 200 to 300 yards, but massed volleys could be devastating at closer distances. Accuracy beyond that was largely a matter of luck. The battlefield at Gettysburg would have been a maelstrom of noise, smoke, and confusion, far removed from the clear sightlines of film. The thick black powder smoke would quickly obscure vision, making aiming difficult if not impossible after the first few volleys. Soldiers often fired into the general direction of the enemy, relying on the sheer volume of lead to compensate for individual inaccuracy. The courage required to stand shoulder to shoulder, loading and firing these slow, often unreliable weapons while facing a wall of incoming fire, is almost incomprehensible. Films tend to sanitize this experience, turning a terrifying, chaotic struggle into a comparatively clean and precise exchange of fire. It simplifies the true horror and grit of one of America's bloodiest battles, reducing the raw, visceral experience of gunpowder combat to something far less impactful. This dramatic misrepresentation of the weapon's limitations fundamentally alters our understanding of the soldier's experience and the tactical challenges faced by commanders. But even more fundamental than the individual weapon or the armor, Hollywood consistently misses the very bedrock of ancient and early medieval combat. Entry 1, the Phantom Shield Wall. Number 1 on our list, and arguably the most fundamental misrepresentation, is the Phantom Shield Wall. We've talked about spears, javelins, longbows, and armor, but all these elements often converged into a single, cohesive entity that Hollywood consistently either ignores or fragments: the shield wall. This was not just a defensive formation, it was the living, breathing bedrock of ancient and early medieval infantry combat, a moving fortress of interlocked shields, spears, and axes. Consider battles like Hastings in 1066. The Anglo-Saxon forces, primarily the Fyrd and Housecarls, formed an immense shield wall on Senlac Hill. This wasn't a loose collection of warriors fighting individually, it was a disciplined, dense mass where each man's shield protected not only himself but also the man to his left, creating an almost impenetrable barrier. Spears bristled from the gaps, and axes delivered devastating blows over the shield tops. The Bayeux Tapestry, a near-contemporary account, vividly depicts this unbroken line. For hours, this wall held firm against repeated Norman cavalry charges and archer volleys. It was a testament to incredible discipline, physical endurance, and the tactical genius of forming an unbreakable front. Hollywood, however, frequently opts for scattered, individual duels, a chaotic melee of heroes and villains. This makes for dramatic close-ups, but it utterly fails to convey the physics and psychology of such combat. A shield wall absorbed impacts, repelled charges, and could slowly advance or recoil as a single unit. Its integrity was paramount, a breach in the wall was catastrophic, often leading to a rout. The noise, the claustrophobia, the sheer effort of pushing and holding against hundreds or thousands of opponents, these are absent when the camera focuses on two men clashing swords. The shield wall was the primary weapon, the primary defense, and the primary tactical unit of battles across centuries, from the Greek phalanx to the Viking raiders and the Anglo-Saxons. Its absence or fragmented portrayal in film fundamentally misrepresents how entire battles were won or lost, reducing the sophisticated, brutal reality of ancient and early medieval combat to something far less imposing and far less historically accurate. So, from the humble spear that extended a warrior's reach, to the shield wall that decided empires, the reality of ancient and medieval combat was a world away from the stylized duels often depicted. These weren't mere accessories, but the very mechanisms of survival and conquest, shaping strategies and determining fates in ways we're only now truly appreciating. Understanding these fundamental differences allows us to see history's turning points with clearer eyes, recognizing the true ingenuity and brutality of those who fought. If you found this journey into historical accuracy compelling, consider subscribing and sharing your thoughts in the comments below.